Siyabonga Sithandekile. Good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Tuesday, June 2, 2015. And this is The Connection on Live Talk. I'm Tungameli Nkomo.
And I'm Tatenda Gumbo.
Tonight, we talk to lucky fellows coming to Washington for the 2015 Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders, otherwise popularly known as YALI.
So everyone, let's get connected on Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag #TheConnection. Our Facebook page is Studio7VOA and our Twitter handle is @Studio7VOA. And you can also get things going on our WhatsApp. That number is 001-202-465-0318.
To get live on air here at Studio 7, give us a call at the following number and we will call you back. The number is 001-202-619-2077. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. Give us a call, we'll call you back.
And of course, as usual, we're streaming live on the internet. You can find us right now at voazimbabwe.com, voashona.com, and last but not least, voandebele.com.
Again, this is your number one youth forum, The Connection, coming to you live from the Voice of America in Washington.
A select of 30 young Zimbabweans who are carrying out development programs benefiting youth in their areas will be flying over to Washington in the next 2 weeks for the coveted Young African Leaders Initiative founded by U.S. President Barack Obama to empower young people from Africa.
A lot of fellows from Zimbabwe and indeed across the African continent have benefited from this noble cause. And just like everyone who has gone through the initiative, Zimbabwean participants say they couldn't be happier. So tonight, we talk to some of the fellows as they ready themselves for the 18-hour flight in a fortnight to Washington.
And Tunga, I think I can say that I am equally as excited as they are because it's always amazing getting to finally meet these wonderful 30 Zimbabweans representing Zimbabwe so very well, I must say.
Indeed, Ms. T, we are all looking forward to that. Lichona njani? Sapho lweZimbabwe ikudibana kuhlelo lamhlanje ngolwesibili uhlelo The Connection. Uhlelo lwabasakhulayo lapho esikhangela lamhlanje ontanga abangamashumi amathathu abakhethiweyo eZimbabwe ukuza ngapha eMelika phansi kohlelo lweMandela Washington Fellowship olwaziwa kakhulu ngokuthi YALI. Abakhethiweyo laba benza imisebenzi etshiyeneyo ezigabeni zabo ejonge ukuthuthukisa ontanga ngalokho baza ngapha ukuze funda izifundo ezihambelana labakwenzayo emakolishini achiyeneyo abanengi sithe sikhuluma labo bathi basuka mhla ka-17 eZimbabwe ngakho sikhangelele ukuba labo lapha eWashington kumaviki alandelayo. Lizakhumbula ukubana lolu hlelo belikhona futhi ngomnyaka odluleyo lakulowa umnyaka lwasungulwa ngumongameli weMelika uBarack Obama ngenjongo yokuthuthukisa abasakhulayo beAfrika. Ongo tatena ndikutaura vatereri kuti nhasi nyaya iri mudariro muchirongwa The Connection inyaya yevechidiki vari kuuya kuno kuAmerica vachibva kuZimbabwe vachiuya pasi pechirongwa cheMandela Washington Fellowship icho chinozikanwa zvikuru nekuti YALI. Vatereri vacharangarira kuti gore rapfuura takambokurukura maningi nemaYALI fellows akanga ari pano apa. Saka ndo zvatiri kuita futi gore rino vari kuuya kuno vechidiki ava like mumasvondo maviri anotevera. Saka tikufara zvikuru we are waiting for them.
Yes, indeed, Ntunga. And of course, we can't go amiss by acknowledging last year's round and the previous years before of the Young African Leaders Initiative, but also the accolades that Zimbabwe received. I remember last year we were sitting there watching President Obama, watching John Kerry, even Michelle Obama herself, and they kept talking about these wonderful Zimbabweans that were present during this, Yali meeting of 500 young Africans. But Zimbabwe managed to continuously, make its rounds from the leaders themselves.
Why don't we take our listeners back to last year?
Let's definitely do that. I think our producer is getting the clip ready, a video clip where we'll be showing some of what happened last year. President Obama, John Kerry, speaking specifically on Zimbabwean participants.
Roll it, producer. Play the tape.
From rural Zimbabwe took a 5-hour bus ride, then another 6-hour bus ride, then another 7-hour bus ride, a 2-day journey just to get her interview. And ultimately, some 50,000 extraordinary young Africans applied. And today, they're at the heart of what we're calling our Yali network, the online community across Africa that's sharing their ideas and forging new collaborations to realize the change that they seek. And I want everybody out there in the Yali network to know that you're the foundation of our partnership with Africa's youth. And among your ranks is that young woman from Zimbabwe who endured all those bus rides. So we want to welcome Abigail Mulea. Where's Abigail? Where's Abigail? Where is she? There's Abigail. Hey. That's a lot of bus rides.
And I'm inspired by Zandile Lambu from Zimbabwe. Where is Zandile? Raise your hand. She is leading the charge to promote inclusive economic growth. And Zandile hasn't just spoken words about shared prosperity. She's walked the walk. She's used her position at Econet Services to create new trade opportunities for mobile money products in Africa. She's partnered with businesses to provide mobile money services to local communities. She's volunteered to teach other young women how to design and develop mobile apps. She's not in this business to make money. She's in it to make a difference. And I'm proud that the future of this partnership is also in Zandile's hands.
This is where Africa's future lies, with those women-run businesses, with those girls attending university, and with leaders like you who are making those dreams possible. And the question today is how all of you and young people like you will steer Africa's course to embrace that future. Because ultimately, that's what leadership is really about.
That, of course, was First Lady Michelle Obama at the 2014 edition of Yali. You also heard from the man himself, U.S. President Barack Obama, giving kudos to our own Abigail Mulea from Binga. And also there was John Kerry giving kudos to Zandile Lambu. So, Zimbabwean youth rock. We are looking forward to having another round of recognition, of course, at a tender at this year's edition of the Washington Mandela Fellowship.
And I think we're also joined live on Skype by one of those 30 Zimbabweans who will be joining us in Washington, D.C. In 2 weeks or so. That is Tinodiwa Zambe Makoni. Tinodiwa, can you hear us? We can see you very well. Can you hear us? Hello, Tinodiwa? Can you hear us? I think we might be having a little audio glitch there, Ntunga, with our Skype. We do see him, though, but we hope he can hear us very shortly indeed, Ntunga.
Yeah, we also had an opportunity to speak, of course, to some of the fellows earlier. And one of them is Martin Ndlovu, the founder of a company called Sky Hub. I spoke to him from Bulawayo. Let's take a listen. There's confusion in our house. I think it's our machines which are acting on us. But I hear, Zambe might be hearing us now. Tinodiwa urutinzo. What do you try, Samantha?
I think we also have, maybe I think Panopani Majeras, men on disability, Mishuna Shaguneta, but I think Samantha, you're on the line. Samantha Gama, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
There we go. Welcome to the program, Samantha. Thank you so very much for joining us on Live Talk, The Connection this evening. And of course, congratulations is due to you for being one of the 30 Zimbabweans who will be here in the coming weeks.
Thank you for inviting me to the show.
To many fellows, Samantha, that we have spoken to, this is a big deal. What does it mean to you?
Sorry?
I'm saying to the other fellows that we have spoken to so far who are coming this side, this is a big deal. What does it mean to you coming to Washington under this program?
It means a lot, really. Because I'm now fresh from college and I'm actually ready to take over the world. And Yali, for starters, is just an amazing step towards me achieving my goals.
So tell us more about your organization. You are the founder of She Codes. What's that?
Okay, it's a mobile welfare. It was a mobile application company where we developed mobile apps, but then we've actually spread our wings and we are touching on other human-related problems like creating solutions or rather coding to bring change using our mobile development skills to actually build mobile applications that solve particular problems that affect people in our communities.
Mm-hmm. And Samantha, where will you be once you touch down in the U.S.? Of course, every Yali fellow will be stationed at a particular university or college here in the U.S. Where will you be?
I will be at the University of Austin in Texas.
Oh, man. Sounds very exciting. Of course.
And what studies exactly will you be pursuing?
I'm in the business and entrepreneurship track.
Suke waba le thuba Samantha elokukhulumisana labanye akade bekuyali ikakhulu ngomnyaka odlule. Ngiyazi kulabo busi ngapho lapho Emmanuel koBulawayo.
Yeah, there is Utakunda Chingoto. He was also at NAS lapho engamfunda khona. Nguye ende ngisebenza naye.
Bathi kunjani nxa ukhuluma labo?
It's actually a stepping stone for your career. Iyakuncedisa nxa ufuna ngeventure yakho oyakuyenza ngoba iyakulinka labantu abakhona out there in the world to actually making big things. So bona ibabasa kuncedisa bekumentor bebona ama-business plan akho le-idea yakho ukuthi is it feasible bekuncedisa and so on.
Okay, siyabonga Samantha, qhubeka ubambile usecingweni khonapho. Misty, let's try our second guest.
I think Ntunga Tinodiwa aripo pa Skype. So I'm hoping he can hear us. Tinodiwa, how are you? Welcome to The Connection.
I am good. I'm seeing we've got a bit of an echo there.
Yes, so hopefully we can avert that a bit. Maybe if you mute your audio.
That echo must be coming from you,
We'll
Mr.
blame you
Makwani.
on that side.
We have some of the, top, studios in the world here, Studio 7. So definitely that echo is not coming from us.
Hey, my studio ain't half bad, so hey, maybe.
Okay, Tunadiwa, thank you for joining us for Chirongwa Chedu The Connection. And we'd like to first, of course, say the congratulations to you for being one of the 30 to come here for the YALI program.
Thank you. It's exciting. Definitely a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Saka tuona pa tinodiwa kuti uri graphic designer unoita futi zve animation. How does this play into kubatsira vechidiki?
But vechidiki up until now vagara vachingoona zvekuamerica kana kuti kujapan kana Europe, but havakaona zvinhu zvekuno kuZimbabwe. They haven't seen heroes born and bred here in Zimbabwe, and so their imaginations, the way they view the world, the way they view life, is heavily influenced by external factors. They haven't begun to tell their own stories. And basically what is their story for the world. So for young people, comics are an opportunity to not only visually show their lives and how they perceive the world, but also tell it verbally, if you can call it verbally.
And pane vamwe vasingaziva kuti iwewe unoita chii, chimbotaura kuti unoita chii negraphic design neanimation yachoni.
All right, it's been a long-running battle explaining to people what it is that I do. Saka ndakabudoti iwewe unoita chii exactly. Look, ndikoti unoita zvemapopai. That's what people understand. And then I explain I do basically stuff for advertising and marketing. So Zuma comic books, animation is relatively new in Zimbabwe. There are many animators, but not enough to have a fully fledged industry. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do with Comics Post, to actually build the industry, build a platform for people to begin sharing their work, get known, get recognized, and hopefully get corporate input and buy-in, and basically society know that they can get that sort of work done here, and that it is an avenue for them to communicate.
Saka pa animation apa tinodiwa unoshandisa ipi program. I know there is different software zinoshandiswa nema-animators. Yo unoshandisa ipi?
Well, for animation, unoshandisa Tool Studio and Anime Studio Pro, and then for 3D animation, I'm a Cinema 4D user, and then I have other associates who assist me in other things like ZBrush, or when we get into things like Maya. For the comic art, I use predominantly Photoshop, Photoshop. And also for animation, I have a tendency of using After Effects. It's also a very handy tool for that.
Apa maita zvema professional, because some of us are, I know Tuntunga, you know exactly what he was speaking of there, but some of us are like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, ndakamboita Adobe Flash kuchikoro, but if you are not naturally an animator,
excuse us.
Man, that thing, not a patience yakawanda.
But Tinodiwa, thank you so very much. Just hold there on Skype, and Samantha, of course, you also hold on the line. We have so many young Zimbabwean African leaders that we lined up and that we also spoke to earlier in Tunga, and I think we can go to our first tape. Who was that we had prepared to listen to?
We have Martin Ndlovu, the founder of a company called Sky Hub in Bulawayo. I had an interview earlier with him. Congratulations, Martin, for making it to the 2015 Mandela Washington Fellowship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkoma. I'm really excited about it.
So, how did you feel when you received the news?
I was the last one to be told, so all the other guys had gotten their responses. They were told that they had made it. And I thought to myself that, since I didn't get an email, I didn't make it. Only that they had made a mistake with my email. So when I finally got the email, I was so excited that I actually made it. I went and told everyone at home.
Give us some background about yourself. Who is Martin Ndlovu and what exactly does he do?
All right, so Martin Ndlovu is a born leader. Everywhere I go, I'm a leader. Since I started university 4 years ago, I've discovered my passion for technology and mostly how technology can be used to solve problems in our society. I've also realized that I'm very passionate about the youth and working with them. So when I put those two together, I just realized the best solution was to focus my strengths, which is business and entrepreneurship, as well as technology, and to fuse that into something that could help the community. So while I was at university, I founded an organization called SkyHub. SkyHub is a technology and innovation hub which focuses on young entrepreneurs, giving them a place and space where they can grow their small businesses into actual big companies.
How many people would you say have benefited from your project?
Since I started last year in the garage, we've had over 70 young entrepreneurs coming through our gates, all coming with different ideas, and some of them have already started working with big companies like Econet from projects which they started at SkyHub. SkyHub is a space where people come with their ideas for making apps, with their ideas for building websites. SkyHub is a place where young people who have no money for office space, no money for internet, no money for business advice and development, this is a place where these guys come together. So we offer the space to them so that they can come, work on whatever they have, meet other people who can help them, who can then join their idea and join their company.
You guys are coming to Washington in like 2 weeks' time. What are you looking forward to?
For me, the biggest expectation is really to meet people, to create networks with people. I'm not looking to get anything instantly from it. I just really want to be able to build networks with people who can, in future, help me with business skills development, which I will then pass on to the community that will be coming to the hub. I need people who can help me with hardware prototyping, because Bulawayo is an industry-first city, so we need people who will create hardware products.
Which university will you be interning with?
I will be at the University of Nevada, Reno, in the state of Nevada, something close to Las Vegas.
Kutshoni kuwe Ndlovu ukuba kuhlelo lweYali?
Ngibona angani iYali idinga abantu abenelisa ukuncedisa abantu abaseduze kwabo. Ngakho mina ngenhlanganiso yami ngincedisa abantu abaqalisa amabhizimusi, abantu abangela msebenzi abadinga ukusebenzisa ama-technologies anamuhla ukuthi baqalise amabhizimusi.
Ubancedisa njani abasakhulayo kunhlanganiso yakho?
Abantu abatsha banamuhla abenelisi ukubhadalela amahofisi, abenelisi ukubhadalela i-internet, abenelisi lokuthola ama-skills ukuthi besebenze. Abaningi babo kodwa banama-ideas amaningi angancedisa abantu. So sithi kibo kababuye eSkyHub, siyabanika indawo yokusebenza, siyabanika le-internet yona le abangelayo, siyabanika konke lokubafundisa ama-technology skills angikhona. Bona bazahlangana beqalisa amabhizimusi abo khonapho, sibe sibasiza ngokubahlanganisa le market ezathenga ama-products abo. Every week siba lama-skills workshops. Ama-skills workshops yona la akhangelela ukufundisa ama-skills e-technology. For example, i-programming yama-computer, konke lama-business skills ukuthi ibhizimusi iqaliswa njani, ama-business plan enziwa njani, ma usule idea kumbe i-plan wenelisa njani ukuthola imali, ama-investors, konke khonokho ukuthi kungahlangana kuncedisa umuntu asiqalise ibhizimusi enkulu.
Kuyini okhangelela ukukufunda phansi kohlelo lweYali lolo?
Okokuqala, kwamaviki aqalisayo sizabe sifunda into kuthiwa yi-business and entrepreneurship course ezasifundisa ukuthi siqalisa njani amabhizimusi konke lokuthi sizenalisa njani ku-transporta ama-goods ethu ku-market ye-Afrika. Konke lokhu ukuthi singafika eWashington ngidinga ukuthi sihlangane nabantu abangasincedisa ngapha singaphenduka ukuthi sithelise i-organization young African leaders abazancedisana ukukhweza amabhizimusi ethu lapha e-Afrika so that sisupportane as ama-business leaders.
Bekukuhle ukuxoxa lawe Martin, siyabonga kakhulu.
Sibongile mnumzana Nkosi.
That, of course, was Martin Ndlovu, founder of Sky Hub in Bulawayo.
A great interview there, Ntunga. It was great to find out what he's doing in Zim. And, of course, another one we all can't wait to say hello to when they get here.
Indeed. Again, we still have Samantha and Diwa on the line. Guys, do stay on the line. We'll be coming back to you shortly. But now, time for our news headlines.
Police today arrested former ZANU-PF lawmaker Themba Muliswa for allegedly destroying ZANU-PF election posters and disrupting the ruling party's meetings. Vendors are vowing to resist government plans to evict them from streets in urban areas within 7 days. And finally, FIFA President Sepp Blatter is stepping down amid outrage over inherent corruption at the International Football Federation.
Mutungamiri we-MDCT Vamogen Tsvangirai voshora hurumende nekuda kushandisa chisimba kubvisa vanhu vari kutengesera mumigwagwa. Vari kukwikwidza vakazvimirira kuHurungwe West vaThemba Muliswa vanosungwa mazuva mashoma sarudzo dzekuHurungwe West dzave kuda kuitwa. Vashandi vanotambira danho rehurumende rekuongorora magumurirwo ari kuitwa vashandi munyika.
Wayengumsekeli kamongameli welizwe unkosikazi Joyce Mjulu usexolisile kuZulu weZimbabwe ngokuba yingxenye yenkokheli yelizwe edilize umnotho yafaka uZulu ebuzimeni obukhulu. Amapolisa abopha owayengummeli weHurungwe West edale leParlamente umnumzana Themba Muliswa emethesa icala lokudabula amabhakane ebandla leZANU-PF. Osandwa kukhethwa ukuba eqhubeke engumongameli wenhlanganiso ebona ngezenguqu emhlabeni jikelele iFIFA umnumzana Sepp Blatter uthi usechiya umsebenzi phezu kwembiko yobuhuquluzi kulinhlanganiso.
Thank you there to our dedicated colleagues for the top headlines of the day. Samantha, just before we go for our break on the top half of this hour, what's your reaction to all the other Yali fellows that are representing Zimbabwe when you find out what they're doing and, who are they representing?
Hello?
Yes, Samantha?
Yes, I didn't hear that.
I'm just asking, what's your reaction when you meet all the other young Zimbabweans who'll be representing the country, looking at what they're doing within the country?
I'm very excited and actually didn't know of the many things that people are doing around the country, and I'm excited to actually be part of that team.
And Tinodiwa?
The fellows that we're going with are all, just a sterling bunch of people. The things that they're doing, I didn't even know people were doing such stuff, and I'm honored to be amongst them. I think the nation's in good hands with bright minds like these.
Thank you there.
And indeed, I can relate to what these guys are saying because we are journalists, but until I got, the paper, the list of the fellows coming and seeing what they are doing, I had no idea, people are doing such stuff.
Of course, we thought last year the 30 were a big deal, but we see 30 more this year, and you get shocked at how much people are doing.
We have a bigger deal in our hands, right?
Of course, indeed.
And it's time to go for now for our radio listeners, but there is good news.
We are streaming live. Please hurry on to the internet, voazimbabwe.com, voashona.com, or voandebele.com. Join us there. We'll continue our conversation. I'm Tatenda Gumbo.
Abe radio. Bye-bye.
Hello again to those of you who have been watching us, and good evening, Zimbabwe, to those of you who are just joining us. You're listening to Studio 7, or you're watching, rather, The Connection on Live Talk, and I'm Tatenda Gumbo. And of course, we are talking to some of the 30 Zimbabweans that will be joining us here in a few weeks for the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders Initiative. And we've had a chance to listen to one or two of them. And on the line with us, Ntunga, who do we have that is representing live in the studio?
Tinodiwa Zambe Makoni, graphic designer, uyezve anoita zve animation, ari pa Skype. Uyezve tina Samantha Gama, founder of a company called She Codes. Ari Gublawayo, going to the too.
And Tunga, we have so many people that we got a chance to speak to as we were speaking earlier. These Yali fellows who will be here representing Zimbabwe. And of course, it's always nice to find out what they're doing. So let's take a chance at the top of this hour to listen to one of the other Yali fellows. That is Kelvin Mutize, who is a co-founder of TV Yangu and also a blogger, a webmaster, and he's also doing very well in his community with those living with HIV.
One of my friends had also applied for Yali, so that's Munya Global. So he had applied for Yali, and so I walked into the room one day and he's like, I'm in. I'm like, into what? And he's like, I'm into Yali. Check your email. So I was shaking as I was opening my email. And then, when I looked at my email, it's like, congratulations, you're on. I wasn't really excited or moved by it, but I think it actually kicked in a couple of days later. I was like, shucks, I'm actually doing this thing. I'm actually going to be a part of the Mandela Washington Fellowships.
Let's start off with your day job, I guess. How did you get to the point of being webmaster, blogger, content administrator for TV Yangu?
I think it's in 2009. I started a blog. One of the things I really love is talk about worship, music, gospel music. I started a blog in 2009. I would get about 4 people on the blog per week, and I used to hate the fact that there was no one going to the blog, and I spent most of my time creating content. So this time I started just learning how to push online traffic. How do you get the website to be more visible? How do you get the blog to be well known? And all those things. So bit by bit, slowly I started learning how to do online stuff, how to push content, how to Facebook strategies, Twitter and Facebook. And before you know it, TV Yangu came along and just catapulted me to the next level.
How has TV Yangu changed the way people are accessing media, in particular within the diaspora?
TV Yangu is a video on demand platform. Basically, it's like an online TV station where you just create content from all over Africa. And so we are creating that one place stop shop where, wherever you are, if you want to just check out the latest stuff that's happening all over Africa in terms of movies, music, or entertainment, just know that the one place to go is to go to TV Yangu.
And you also volunteer for Champions for Life. What is that, and how did you get into it?
Wow. Champions for Life is one of the most amazing things I've been a part of. So Champions for Life is a psychosocial support program that works with children living with HIV and AIDS, mostly affected and infected with HIV and AIDS. It started about in 2005, and I got involved in it through the church that I go to, Celebration Church in Harare. So that's how I got involved into it. And then, since 2009, it's been working with children, in all over Zimbabwe, and now it's in 11 nations in Southern Africa, including East Africa, that's Kenya and Uganda. So Champions for Life really just works with helping children living with HIV and AIDS, and also some of them affected with HIV and AIDS. So all the things that we do in Champions for Life is just taking stuff about the Bible and then just relating it to what life is all about and how can you overcome fear, stigma, and also your own personal life, in terms of character, in terms of who you are, in terms of what you represent and the way you think, vision.
That there was Kelvin Mutize company inonzi TV Yangu.
Very interesting indeed. They're pushing for those in the diaspora and those in Zimbabwe also and throughout the continent to, watch video clips, music videos, TV shows. It's a very interactive website. One of those things that you're like, these Zimbabwean kids are doing very well. So it's good to see that.
Yeah, Timbo Zoga Kwauri, Tinodiwa. Iwewe presence yako pa internet hapa yakamira sei, in terms of kushanda nevechidiki and all that. Tukuona ava ve TV yangu, the TV they've pronounced online presence. Kwa yako yakamira sei presence pa internet hapa?
Okay, on the internet, for me, the quickest way to find me is actually via YouTube. We have a monthly program as well as a bunch of other programs under Comexposed Convention. That's our YouTube channel, where we disseminate all this information. We talk African art, African comic art, new stuff that's on the block, new tech, everything, all that sort of information. We put it out there. Then there's also our website, which is comexposed.com, where we now have articles and discussions and that sort of stuff, followed by our Facebook group and Facebook page, and then we're also on Twitter. So on all those things, if you just look for Comexposed, you will find us somehow. Then if you want to look for me specifically, you'll also find me on mechanimationstudio.com. So those are the avenues we're using to reach out to people, specifically the YouTube channel, and hopefully we're going to get into podcasts as well. That's the intention.
Well, you took a marketing class, I assume, because the branding was very very strong there.
That's why I like these kids, man. They're very smart.
They figured it
out. Many people think, YouTube, and they're going to talk about videos, of what's happening here and there, but you can actually, push your brand on YouTube.
Absolutely.
On Twitter, Facebook and all that.
Of course. And Samantha, I hope you're still on the line.
Yes.
Same with you, Samantha. We want to know, how is your presence on the internet? How are you able to push your company She Codes to make sure that anyone and everyone can see what you're doing?
Okay, we have a Facebook page called She Codes. That's where we actually advertise what we're about to do. But then most of the times we go to schools directly. We talk to the teachers. We want to encourage more women to be in the STEM fields and also in ICT. So we use a program called Technovation Challenge for Girls, whereby we mentored young girls in secondary levels to actually build mobile applications to solve a particular problem in their community. So we're going around schools in Bulawayo, mentoring and encouraging young girls to actually do that.
And can I be a little biased here and talk about the young girls? How are they very interested, in coding, and how have they been responding to you coming to them and telling them this is something that they should be interested in or something that they should partake in? Well,
for girls mostly, for me, instance, I didn't know that there was a program called computer science. I actually saw it when I was applying at the National University of Science and Technology. So when they are in secondary level, they don't see such programs as something that's relevant. They need to look at them as something that's done by boys. It's tech related, and it's for guys. But then we also want to encourage them that they can actually do such things and create viable solutions or products that customers actually need out there.
Thank you there.
Thank you, Samantha. Kubeka ubambile konapo lo todi tinodiwa. Ngibele thuba lokukhuluma njalo. Lo Yvonne Jila, our International Images Film Festival for Women. Yes, let's have Yvonne Jila, please.
Amhlophe Yvonne ngokungena kuhlelo lweyali.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Uzwe njani bekutshela ukuthi uphumelele?
Okokuqala iqiniso ukuthi ngathi ngivula i-email ngibona i-subject yangikhona. Ngezwe ukujabuka ngizokwethuka at the same time because ngangakholwa ukuthi yini lo. Inyembezi zafuna ukuyehla but zahle ukuphuma. Ngangiphethe i-laptop ngahamba ngayibeka phansi ngahamba lokho engigayo ukuthi yini lo usibili ngangibheke ukuthokoza kakhulu engengakwanisa ukukutsho ukuthi ngiyabonga uNkulunkulu.
Ku-Women Filmmakers of Zimbabwe lenzani kahle kahle?
I-Women Filmmakers of Zimbabwe inhlanganiso ekhangela indaba zamabhayisikopho, ikhangela ukuthi umuntu ongumama yena ngokwakhe ukhangeleka njengomuntu njani nxa ukhangela ibhayisikopho. Women Filmmakers of Zimbabwe njalo ngingathi kule esiyithi i-festival lapho siyabe sitshengisa khona imifanekiso yabomama etshiyeneyo yabivela ezindaweni ezitshiyeneyo ezomhlaba. Lapho siyabe sikhangele khona amalungelo abomama, sikhangele ukuthi thina njengebhayisikopho singenza njani ukuthi senze impilo kamama ibe ngcono. So esikwenzayo ukuthi siyahamba ezindaweni eziningi ezitshiyeneyo uhlanganisela nasemakhaya esiyafika-ke khona sesitshengisa amabhayisikopho lawa bese sisizwa-ke sesixoxa labantu labomama labobaba ezindaweni zenalezo sisizwa ukuthi bona iziphi inhlupho abahlangana nazo njalo yini esingakwenza ukuthi sizame ukuthi senze impilo zabo, senze impilo zethu zibe ngcono endaweni lapho esihlezi khona lokuthi sizame ukuthuthukisa indawo zethu lapho esiyabe sihlezi khona. Khonapho ngingathi indaba esidayile ukuhlangana nazo ngitsho lanxa sitshengisa amabhayisikopho lanxa sixoxa labantu indaba ezihlanganisela ubudlangudlangu, ezihlanganisela engathi i-gender based violence, ezihlanganisela indaba ze-HIV. Sosabe sibonisana nama-communities ukuthi njengoba sihlangane lenhlupho lezi kuyini esingakwenza ukuthi impilo zabantu, impilo zethu zibe ngcono.
Kuyini okukhangeleleyo?
Okokuqala mina ngathi ngamaviki awuqala ayisithupha ngiyabe ngise-University of California, Berkeley, lapho ngiyabe ngenza khona i-public policy. So lapho ngikhangelele ukuthi ngibone ukuthi theory engilayo ingangincedisa njani emsebenzini engiwenzayo.
Saka mafirimu muri kumashandisa sei kusimudzira vechidiki uyezve madzimai?
Ipapo ndingathi anatitarisa ama-issues anenge achiburiswa ipapo kazhinji kacho paunoenda nemafirimu kumasocieties pekutanga pane nyaya yekuti uchasangana nevanhu vanenge vachinyatsa kuti isusu todawo kuitawo zvemabhayisikopho, toda kuti tiwane income tichiita zvemabhayisikopho. Saka pekutanga unopawo vanhu mukana wekuti vakwanisewo kuti vafanowana maskills ekuti vaite zvemabhayisikopho. Chechi2 maissues aunenge uchitarisa ipapo unovhura vanhu vanonyatsoona maproblems avanenge vachisangana nawo, and then from maproblems iwawo vanhu vanozonyatsoona kuti alright, saka kana pane character yakati mufirimu iyi akambosangana nedambudziko rakati but akazokwanisawo kubuda muthat situation nekuita ABC and D, saka nemiwo zvinoreva kuti ndogonawo kubuda musituation yandinenge ndiri. Ipapo ndingashandisawo pamwe muenzaniso yekuti ngatingoti pamwe munhu ari musituation yekuti ari kuabhuzwa, ari kufeisa gender based violence, oonawo mufirimu pane munhu ari kusangana nezari problem but achizokwanisawo pamwe kuenda kumaorganization anokwanisa kumubatsira. Saka iyeyo munhu anenge achiona firimu iyoyo anogona kuita sei, anogona kuzivawo kuti saka problem yakati ndikasangana sezvo ndiri problem yakati zvinoreva kuti ndikaenda kuorganization yambotaura mufirimu ndinogona kuita sei, ndinogona kuwanawo kubatsirwa.
Zvii zvauri kutarisira kudzidza uyezve unenge uri kuneipi university?
Ndinenge ndiri ku-University of California, Berkeley. Ipapo ndopandinenge ndichiita zvepublic policy. Ipapo ndikutarisirawo kuti ndinyatsodzidzisa kana kuti ndoedha knowledge yandinayo kudhara nekudzidzawo maskills panyaya dzatiri kuita zvemadzimai nenyaya dzana education, ndiwanewo that theoretical backing.
that there was Yvonne Jila ndanga ndichitaura naye ari kubulawayo. And now Tatenda, I'm told we have our third guest. But before we unveil him, let's make a quick rundown of all the 30 fellows coming this year. Wekutanga, we have Munyarazi Nyeremuka, Stanley Nyamanindi, Regina Buganali, Yvonne Jila, of course, we spoke to her already. Kelvin Mutize, Sizwile Nyamande, Andrew Chikomba, Tinodiwa Makoni, Tinotendaishe Gamba Haya, Munyarazi Dodo, Napoleon Nyani, David Wofisi, Roslyn Sachiti. We also spoke to Sachiti Pama regular shows Edu Nasi. Divine Dube no Nsigelelo Ndlovu.
And Tunga, we have other ones. We have Ivan Mangawa, Kennedy Masie. We also have Promise Muleya, Tangani Murangaidi, Philip Peters. We also have Rudo. Rudo Mako. We also have Samantha Gama, of course, who's on the line with us. Wimbiso Mashumba, another one that we have. There's Tapua Magama, who we got a chance to also speak to. Martin Lovu, who we heard earlier. There's Plot Mako. And who did I miss here? I think that's it.
Yeah, that's 15, 30. Those are our fellows.
Yes.
Coming here in the next 2 weeks. And of course, on the line we have Tinodiwa Zambe Makoni and Samantha Gama. But we are joined by a third guest, Sydney Chisi.
I think we can call him an OG. I won't say what the G means, but we can. He is indeed an OG. Sydney Chisi was one of the first to ever participate in this program back in, I guess, when it was called the President Obama Young African Leaders Initiative. So, Sydney OG Chisi, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tatenda. How are you?
We're doing very well. Thank you for joining us. And Sydney, first we'll get your reaction. You were one of the first, as we said, and now looking 5 years later, there's so much wealth that's coming from Zimbabwe, so many young people representing the country. What's your reaction when you hear who will be here in the next coming weeks?
Thank you very much, Tatenda. I think when we look at the President Obama initiative with young African leaders, we should understand that the initiative started at the turn of 50 years of African independence, when the first African country, which was Ghana, got independence. And looking out at it, the future of the world, the future of Africa, at the present moment is in the hands of young people. If we look at what happened in the Arab North, and the challenges that come with it is that 5 years on, when this initiative started, we have seen African countries, many of them going through elections, and many of them being free and fair and credible elections, except for few African countries that include Zimbabwe, which still suffers around issues of legitimacy. But at the end of the day, you see that this initiative in itself, the changes that are there in democratic processes, is also creating an environment for young people to come back from the Yali initiative to begin to express themselves. The last group that went in last year, most of the young people who came back to Zim are doing wonderful things. Isusu, whom we are calling the OGs, myself, Masimbanyama Nindi, and Cleopatra Ngove. Right now, Cleopatra Ngove, she's there in the United States, she's pursuing education. Masimbanyama Nindi is currently in the UK doing his master's degree. So the sky is the limit. I mean, once that opportunity has opened, and we encourage that the young people who are going to be going to the United States or Niali, they should understand that going to the United States and meeting President Barack Obama, I'm sure that the next generation will meet different presidents. Does not mean when you come back home, everything would getting to think. You need to work, you need to locate yourself within the process of saying, how do you uplift the lives of the community to which you are coming from?
Okay, we have on the line our two guests, Tinodiwa Zambe Makone, graphic designer, and Samantha Gama, founder of a company called She Codes. Can you speak to them directly, give them some pep talk as to what to expect, when they come over here?
Thank you very much. I think to the next YALI participants, I think one of the critical things that you need to understand is that when you get to the United States, the first culture shock that you're going to get, you're going to be coming into a very functional society. Everything works. And don't be surprised about that, because already you are made of steel. You are coming from a society where everything almost doesn't work. So you are going to survive that terrain. But also, whilst you're surviving in that terrain, you also need to ensure that you make critical contact. You have to get in contact and get in touch with critical people whom, when you come back, you can make use of. Half of the time that people have the opportunity to go to other countries, we get half the time we spend being excited and being shocked by what is happening around us, not thinking about what then happens when you come back. So collect as many business cards as is possible, but also look for opportunities for yourself that when you come back to them and you find maybe things not working, you've got an opportunity to go back on your own and pursue other opportunities. But also one critical thing is that we also want Zimbabwe to function just like any other country. Those who are into graphic design, those who have got their own companies, then you also have to look at what kind of corporate governance is being put by those countries and what models can we use for Zimbabwe in a Zimbabwean context. But also, we just don't want you guys to remain entrepreneurs without necessarily changing the communities that you are coming from. So go to the United States, talk to your stories, give them a line of your story, talk about what is happening in Bulawayo, talk about what is happening in Rushinga or wherever you are, to ensure that your story becomes their line of hope as well in terms of the support that that they are giving you. This is how we have done it, and we have managed to come back home, sustain and continue getting recognition even by people beyond the United States because of the little work that happened. For us, we came to the United States for about 3.5 days or 2.5 days, but it was magical, it was life-changing, and life will never be the same again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you there, Sydney. And I'll come to you, Tinodiwa, your reaction to what Sydney's saying. I see you smiling, so I think it's a gem of advice there. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's all brilliant advice, actually, particularly to remain conscientious about the return back and how we then have to use whatever we've learned to impact our activities back this side. And to make sure, I like the point about making sure that even if things don't move quite the way you might like them to, make sure you still got inroads, pursue more business by yourself, maybe by going back and forth between Zim and the States. So I thought it was brilliant advice, very good advice. I'll be collecting lots of business cards and giving them.
There you go.
Samantha, oliniki pep talk lapha ochisi, othini ngamazwi akhe?
Hayi iqiniso sibila ukukhulumileyo njalo I think there is opportunity to sifunde as much as we can khona ngale and sibuye ngapho futhi si-apply konke sikufundile siphinde sifundise futhi labanye, be mentored and also mentor others.
Mm-hmm. Thank you there, Samantha. So just before we close our program, let's take our last interview with Tapiwa Magama, who is a medical doctor, but then also a film producer. We got a chance to speak to him earlier. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, they are not really different because medicine is both a science and an art, right? If you look at people who are into plastic surgery, you are reconstructing someone's face. It's basically a form of art, but then you're using science to apply that. My doing medicine is because I went to school, passed, and I thought, I can understand, let me go and keep doing up until I became a doctor. So I met a friend who was in the US, and then he was back in Zen. So he was just telling me about how things work when you're outside in the States. So I said, okay, fine, tell me. So he started telling me, everything, the technology, all the good things. Then I said, no, why can't we not start a company, a business that tries to mimic what's happening so that we can be globally competitive? So we looked at starting a cell phone business, of which I didn't have any idea about how to sell or even order cell phones for selling, for resale anyway. So I said, look, myself, I like camera work. My dad was a camera person. He was a photographer. So I understand something along those lines. I'm going to start something that has to do with cameras. So myself, during that time, I was also doing wedding videos. And then I just professionalized that trade. And then that's when I started to develop the concept around Tasimba, which is the registered name, Tasimba Film and Art Private Limited.
And looking at your medical career, you are very active in your community. Can you talk about what you're doing?
Where I stay in Blair, there are a lot of youth, and also it has a higher prevalence of HIV/AIDS. And my concern was youth who are either born or youth that are affected by the virus itself. This came to my attention when I was working in the OI clinic. And then I discovered that there were a lot of youth who hang around by the OI clinic, and then they didn't have anywhere to go. They were not in school, they didn't have any birth certificates, they didn't have anyone paying for their school fees and everything. So I said, look, why can we not address such issues from a community level, a regional level, as well as worldwide, to try and have an impact? But the question was, how can you do that? So the first thing that we did was I partnered with an organization so that I could learn and intervene in their challenges, and ultimately I then developed an NGO which I call Tasimba Family Initiative Network, which handles or deals with young people in that area, economic challenges.
And Tapiwa, how did you feel when you heard you had made it to be one of the Yali Fellows for 2015?
To be frank, I was actually shocked because this was my second application. So I was like, this time, if I don't go, it happens, but come on, I think I've been working hard because I've been waiting for the past 5 years if I can count back. So I thought this was very competitive, but maybe this is the time. So when the call came, I was so excited and honored at the same time, because when you work, you don't wait for hours. They come as you work. So that's how I treat it. But I was really excited.
Thank you there to Tapiwa Magama, who is a medical doctor and film producer, coming here very soon.
And, Tinodiwa and Samantha, we know you guys are very anxious about what life is like in the United States. We give you an opportunity to ask us random questions. Tinodiwa, you go first.
Wow, random question.
Yes.
Okay, can you give me a second?
You have 10 seconds.
You have 10 seconds. Let's wrap things up. Time is not on our side. Okay, Samantha, you go.
I hear food is very artificial outside and real food is expensive. How true is it?
Artificial food and expensive. Well,
it depends on where you are.
That,
I think it depends on where you're living, what location you are. Some places will be more than others. DC is a bigger city, so it's more expensive. But if you're somewhere, you're in Texas, I think, that might be a little bit cheaper. So it depends on your location.
And in Texas, there's a lot of ranchers, cattle ranchers outside.
Yes,
so she's likely to get, organic meat.
Yes. And Tinodiwa, 10 seconds.
Okay, let me tell Tinodiwa one thing. I know you may want to know where to get Saza when you come to DC. There's a place called Swahili Village.
Where can we get our ethnic food?
We got you. We got you. Ntunga's kitchen is wide open. He's a good cook.
Okay, Misty, let's wrap things up.
Let's wrap things up there. We'd like to thank our guests, viewers and listeners. Tinodiwa Zambe Makoni, thank you for joining us. Samantha Gama, thank you for joining us. And also Sydney Chisi, thank you so very much for joining us this evening on The Connection. I'm Tatenda Gumbo. Join us next week.
I'm Tungamili Nkomo. We love you guys. See you soon.